time to check this out. Just give you a quick run through on a new tool I'm developing. Hopefully it is useful. Um, I don't know if you guys are familiar yet with my original output. It was this chart kind of giving you updates on injuries, targets, and myriad of information here that people seem to really like, I think, in terms of how it looks, but maybe it's not as useful as some people would like. People with statistical minds and good way of interpreting this data, they're loving it, and I'm grateful for them. But I am developing another tool to try and actually create some predictions. So the whole concept here is that games have a flow. They go run heavy or pass heavy, and the whole concept is that you can adjust what point values people might have based on if the game becomes a slow kind of grind out rushing game versus a faster paced receiving passing game. Basically, I load the Las Vegas stats that lets me know what a score will be. So tonight's game, for instance, I think the over-under is 46, and then it's a +2 for Tampa Bay, so their score would be 21. Baltimore would be 26. That's just plugged in there right away. And then the plays, I know this number is a little funky, but basically I calculate how many plays are going to happen based on yards per point. So for Tampa Bay to score 21 points, at their current rate, they would need to run 79 plays. Obviously, that's not legit, but I left these kind of open so you can futz around with this number and adjust it, and you'll see the statistics and how many plays, etc., change when you update these. So, for instance, if you think Tampa Bay's only scored 14 points, and it's going to take them, 56 plays to do so, you can adjust as you see fit. Couple bugs to work out still, but I think that's about 55 right there. So this is all percentages based, so the numbers don't add up perfectly because I'm basing all these stats on just kind of the real world data for the year. But obviously I'm leaving that up for interpretation too. I'm gonna better do this so that it goes game by game rather than by the year, because people who've been injured aren't gonna have as much of the rushing pie, so to speak, as people who've been playing or participating, even though that player may come back and instantly get a big share of that, of either the attempts or targets. But I am allowing for you to adjust that. So this is where you adjust kind of the flow of the game, whether it's going to be rushing heavy or passing. And you can kind of see Tampa Bay spreads the ball out a lot. So no individual player necessarily gets that many more reception targets or receptions. And again, these are all based on their percentages. But on the rushing side, it's very much Leonard Fournette heavy. Like if they're going to run the ball a lot, we can pretty much assume it's going to be Leonard Fournette. Again, these are statistical based on the year. And you can adjust. So here we have 26% or 26 rushes for Leonard Fournette out of 38. Maybe we think he's going to be a little bit less than that. You can click in here and kind of take down his distribution a little bit, and that'll actually bump up Rachaad White a little bit, give him a little bit more temps. Or you can just come from here and do the same thing, kind of bump up his rushing percentage. Again, this is all based on percentages from previous games, so nothing crazy, no crazy math algorithm prediction model running here. But honestly, I've been just kind of going back and forth with this, with what statistics happen in a game, and they're pretty close enough to make some ballpark guesses. Again, like, nobody's perfect at predicting these values. There's great models out there. I've made several myself, neural networks, decision tree models, all kinds of stuff, and linear regression models, whatever. You kind of end up around the mean anyway. So I leave the touchdowns purposely blank because I think you kind of should determine who you think are going to get those touchdowns. Those are so random, you never know. So it's nice to be able to just be like, all right, I think Lamar Jackson's going to get 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 touchdown. One important concept here too is that given the score, these are the general numbers that are going to pop up. So we don't have expectations for Gus Edwards, Kenyon Drake, and Justice Hill to all score 2 touchdowns. That's crazy. This can't happen because we're only expecting around 3 touchdowns. This number is just kind of like a division of our total score, and then what's left over is the field goals. EXP is extra points. These will be editable at some point, but really you need to kind of be in this ballpark of total touchdowns. So he can have 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, and that would be kind of your final output. And then here we go. We have Lamar Jackson with an estimated 28 points. The only other guy in here with any real significant value, or I guess Devin Duvernay. And here's another example of maybe Rashad Bateman's undervalued because he hasn't played. So I got to update these statistics based on games, but let's just give him a little bit more of this target distribution. And then boom, his value shoots right up. Excuse me. It kind of takes away from Mark Andrews a little bit. You know, we can also bump Duvernay a little bit. And again, this is all percentage based. You can see like what percentage of the pie reflects to this player. 37% is actually more of the percentage because a lot of math in that, working on it, but it's there. So that's kind of the general concept. I'd love any feedback if you think this could be valuable or useful. Definitely something I've been working on I developed this idea a while ago, but just kind of been putting this together over the last week or so to kind of output it. You're more than welcome to check it out on my site. It's called GameFlow, and you got to put this check-in equals true. I'll throw a link up there too. But thank you again for checking this out. I hope it's something you